Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, June 9th, 6:34 p.m. This meeting of the South Orange Maplewood Board of Education is being live streamed as well as recorded for viewing on our district website as well as our YouTube channel. The public can participate during the hearings of individuals and delegates by signing up for a sheet at the entrance or signing up for audio public speaks via WebEx through a form available on our website. Adequate written notice of this meeting of the South Orange Maplewood Board of Education has been provided to both townships and village clerks, the Star Ledger, the News Record, tapintosoma.net, and the Village Green. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Butler, filling in for Mr. Burnside this evening. Please note for the record, all board members informed me that they would be in attendance with this evening. And with that, can you please call the roll?
Board member Susan Bergen.
Here.
Board President Thayer Joshua.
Here.
Board member Alyssa Malaspina.
Here.
Student Representative Noah Morose or Vanessa Prevalon. Board member Erin Siders.
Here.
Board member Kawi Telesford. Board member Arun Vadhamani.
Here.
Board member Caitlin Whitletter.
Here.
Board member Courtney Winkfield.
Here.
Board member Johanna Wright.
Present.
All board members are in attendance, either virtually or on site.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to hold this meeting in a hybrid manner. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Winkfield. All in favor? That appears to be unanimous, Ms. Butler.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, can you tell me who was the second?
Board Member Winkfield.
Thank you.
All right. And now I will turn it over to Dr. Taylor for a special presentation.
Thank you to our board president, and thank you to our board members, and good evening. One of the things that we love the most about our board meetings that COVID stopped us from doing for a while was being able to have our students come forward and just show off all their talents and their hard work that they've done with their teachers and administrators. And we've gotten back to that now, and so we were super excited when we heard that we had some winners, some more winners. We have lots of winners in our district. I always try to push contests towards our principals to review and share with our teachers because we have so much talent in our district and such hardworking students. They should be recognized and a light should be shined on them. And so we are excited to be able to share with you through Ms. Christy Thomas some fantastic work by our young people. Ms. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good evening. So each year, the Essex County Education Association runs an essay contest, which highlights all of our county's wonderful schools and all that the schools do, as well as its passionate educators and, of course, most importantly, our students. Tonight, as SOMEA's Pride Chair, I am honored and excited to introduce 2 of our 4 essay contest winners. 2 of them could not be here tonight, but I'll introduce the 2 who are to read their submissions, and I will read the submissions of the 2 who were unable to make it. The first of our winners is Jack Levitt, who's a Tuscan school student in grade 2. Jack, if you want to come up.
School. I look forward to school because if I did not go to school, I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't have any friends. I like to do math, I like to write, and I love adding hundreds in math. I look forward to school because I love learning, and I especially love learning with my kindergarten teacher, Miss Coase, my first grade teacher, Miss Leone, and my second grade teacher, Miss Duarte. That's why I love school.
Great job. Thank you so much, Jack. Our second winner who's in attendance is Brandon Jones, who's a Columbia High School senior, about to graduate in a couple of days.
You must do the things you think you cannot do. Eleanor Roosevelt. The words can and cannot are very strong words. Is it that you truly cannot perform that certain task, or you just haven't acquired the ability, motivation, or drive to do so? You can't take the test because you aren't smart enough, or you just have not studied. You can't make first place because you aren't fast enough, or you haven't trained hard enough. Nothing in this world is impossible to do, but not everyone can do it because there is a lot of time and effort that must be sacrificed for it. Have you ever felt the satisfaction of completing a goal you previously convinced yourself you couldn't do? I have, and I can tell you the feeling is better than anything you can imagine. One weekend, my cousins and I have decided to do something fun, so we decided to go to the Turtleback Zoo. They have an adventure course called treetop climbing, and I am deathly afraid of heights. But I have a long-term goal of eventually getting over this fear. Prior to this day, I had gone to Six Flags with my friends, and I ended up having a panic attack on one of the least terrifying rides, the Sky Screamer. This was really embarrassing, and I was disappointed in myself, but I developed motivation to conquer my fear. The adventure course is approximately 35 feet tall, and you are walking on platforms that shake, twist and turn, and sometimes you have to take a little leap. The first few obstacles made the course seem like it was going to be a piece of cake, but I couldn't have been more wrong. I didn't know what I had gotten myself into. I had become overwhelmed with fear, frozen. I thought, if I move, I'm going to fall and die. My cousin tried to help me by telling me, "You're okay. It's just a little step. Don't look down." But the only words that were able to come out of my mouth were, "I can't." Just when I was about to give up and walk off the course with my head down in shame, a random lady who was ahead of me by a couple obstacles yelled to me with words of encouragement. And from her voice, I could tell she was scared too. She had become my cheerleader. Every time I got overwhelmed, I heard her yell at me, and it gave me the strength to keep going. Once I finally completed the course, there she was waiting to congratulate me. All I needed was a little push to keep going, and maybe that's all others need too. But from that day on, I knew that I could. Thank you.
So the final two submissions were unable to be here tonight, but I'll read out their submissions. Both of them wrote on the question, looking back, who in your school career has had the biggest impact on your life? The first one is a 9th grader, Jonathan Cross, who attends Columbia High School, and he wrote his piece on Monsieur Lincoln, who is our Somaya's vice president and Marshall School teacher. Throughout the ebbs and flows that have littered my student career, I have naturally found myself forming connections with many faces and personalities that have made a positive impact on both my school and personal life. Through it all, whether it be the zenith of academic and social wellness or during the emotional lows of the social isolation of the past year, I have had the pleasure of conversing with and forming bonds with the staff members that had imparted to me an incomparable sense of familiarity and understanding. All of these experiences contribute to an overwhelmingly positive experience that continues to inform a more educated, optimistic outlook on school and even personal life. While all of these experiences have inundated me with knowledge and a better understanding of myself, only one teacher had a veritable impact on my life and has continued to positively impact the trajectory of my school career today. Even as the specific details of various teachers have escaped the shifting sands of memory, the year I had Mrs. Lincoln as my 2nd grade teacher would always be elucidated despite the permeating cobwebs of time. She would not only contribute to a wonderful and memorable school year, but she would also provide a level of empathy to the educational system that was incomparable to anything I have experienced since. Mrs. Lincoln would be the first teacher that simulated a zeal for learning and would allow me to glean into the wonderment that could be derived from it. She would also welcome questions with a knowing smile, which replaced the stern and sometimes embarrassing responses from teachers I was used to. She unknowingly created a welcoming bastion of knowledge and learning that continues to inform my desire to learn today. She would teach me that whether something was a cakewalk or whether something was difficult, that I had to put my best foot forward. I would consistently learn that each proverbial mountain was an opportunity to learn how to surmount it. I remember the daily readings of the Tales of Despereaux or Because of Winn-Dixie would often be punctuated with regalings of humorous tales from her childhood. Jovial conversation among the students and teachers during these sessions was common and provided a level of empathy to education as a practice. It taught me that teachers didn't have to be harbingers of homework and curriculum, but could equally be invested in your successes and failures and your highs and lows. Through the procession of teachers in the years after, though the procession of teachers in the years after left me with positive experiences of note, she was the first and would set the stage by providing an inclusive environment that was even more important to someone like me at that age. She would put her all into educating and left me with a positive attitude towards school, its possibilities. This is an auspicious gift that would last years. Our final submission and winner is by Arushi Vadlamani, who is a 10th grader at Columbia High School. Yes. She writes about her West Orange pianist, her piano teacher. It was a Tuesday. Whether it was 4 in the afternoon or 6 in the evening, I do not recall. However, Tuesdays are for music, so I would be with Maxine for piano lessons. Anyone who meets Maxine can see her wrinkled but welcoming face and her frail yet sturdy body and keen mind. They also quickly pick up on her dedication to her art. One does develop, quote, a reputation after teaching piano for close to 80 years. Then they get asked about Chopin's etudes. That day, we were nearing the end of the lesson, and no matter how much I tried, I couldn't play the right notes. Seeing me struggled and disheartened, Maxine asked to switch seats. I rose from the piano bench, settling on the rickety wooden chair set aside in the room decorated with paintings of her beloved late husband. Her arthritic, gnarled fingers curled around the keys of the piano, playing the tune with ease, the experience of decades behind her. The baby grand creaked as each chord played, both the aging player and instrument perfectly in tune with each other, lost in the melody. Sounds trickled from every room around me, though the music school was bursting with tones, different instruments, pitches, and tunes flowing all around us. All I could hear was the beauty of the music that Maxine created. I sat there mesmerized while she coaxed complex melodies from the piano, playing and creaking again and again until the creaking was forgotten and the music remained. As she played, I watched her. Her clothing was frayed at the seams, her black shoes ragged, and she wore antique jewelry decades out of style. As I saw deeper, her look did not matter in the face of her talent, experience, and her love of teaching music. I watched her at first with distance and judgment, then with curiosity, and finally with understanding. Maxine had approached my parents at the local Christmas party 7 years ago and offered to teach me piano. She was 87 years old then. Since the earliest days of being her student, I have admired Maxine's care for her physical and mental well-being, keen mind, sharp ear, and dedication to the piano. She is determined to teach music and pass on its legacy until she can't do so anymore. She is living her best life, and I want nothing more than to be like her. So every Tuesday, I sit back at that music school with that creaky piano, trying to absorb into me every piece of herself that Maxine puts into her music and her teaching. When I look into my future, I can see exactly what I learned from her. Being dedicated to what I love will give me a life worth more than money can buy. Thank you.
We've passed around the tissues, right? Oh, such an awesome job. Another round of applause for our, awesome. So I would love to get a picture with all of our winners and our sponsors in front of the board horseshoe here, and we could have that for our families. And if the board is agreeable, we can also give you a copy of our minutes that recorded this into our official district record. So everyone come on up.
All right, thank you. We are now at the time for hearings of individuals and delegates, known as public speaks. Public speaks is not a time for dialogue with the board. It's an opportunity to share a comment with the Board of Education. Wait, where's my, hold on, sorry. Oops. Mouse. Oop, there we go, okay. Oftentimes, oops, nope. Here we go. I got it. This is an opportunity for you to share your concerns about an item on the agenda, but not a time for dialogue with the board. Board requests that you state your name and town of residence for the record. We'll set the time limit to 3 minutes for each speaker, and we ask that you respect that time limit. We must cut you off so it does not appear as if we're giving anyone an advantage to share their views over another individual. Speakers have the full protection of free speech during public speaks. However, this forum does not protect you from the subject of your free speech pursuing libel or slander charges. And finally, the board recommends all members of our community pursue the chain of command. Our first public speaks is from Rocio Lopez.
Hello? Okay. Should I wait for time or we're good? I'm not gonna be that long, but okay. Rocio Lopez, Spanish teacher at Columbia High School, president of SOMEA, former coach, advisor of Power, and a resident of Maplewood, Burnett Avenue. So the first thing I wanna say is I didn't have the opportunity to come and tell the board thank you for the contract. I think it demonstrates one step towards the place that we wanna go. We work really hard to do salary guides that we believe they can be competitive. And hopefully, and I know as a fact, some teachers decided to stay more years thanks to this contract. So thank you to all of you. Thank you, Courtney, for explaining some things of how a school works when we were negotiating, because I know that for somebody that doesn't work in a school district, sometimes it's difficult to understand some things. Thank you, Joshua. you explained the money, and we had some conversations about that. So I suppose each one of you brought your expertise to the negotiations table. And I think in general, the staff is very happy because people that didn't see raises for years are finally seeing some raises. And now I have to go back to not so happy. Okay, so let's say the truth. I have been reading for a little while. I tried to be away for a little while, think, see what's going on. And we just heard in an essay that one of the students just say clearly that what Miss Marlin did, Miss Lincoln did because she's Martin and Lincoln, did for him is actually he felt included. We don't feel included. So Mayor staff doesn't feel included. We're not invited to any task force. We're not invited to the table for anything or anything that is a decision made in this district. We have been completely blindsided in everything. And coming to the point, especially about the discipline in Columbia High School or in the district, right? We understand the moratorium. We understood what you were trying to do. I know the reasons behind it are good, but the problem is we're in COVID. Oh, we are coming out of COVID. Have any of you thought during COVID time or post-COVID time? Have you seen the mental health of the kids and how things work in a school right now? Do you know that the staff also is going through mental health issues as well? So why wouldn't we be in the table talking? And when we say that it happened during a school time, I remind you, I have release time. I could have joined you. I'm not only a teacher. I have been in sports, I have been a coach. I'm an advisor of a club that, demonstrates and fights for women. I'm an LGBT person. I'm a minority, I don't know. And I'm not saying it has to be me. There is many people. But if you want to get that, you can get it. Please, if you want this district to do
Thank you, Ms.
well,
Lopez. Your time is up.
include Somaya staff in your
Ms.
decisions.
Lopez.
Thank you.
Your 3 minutes is up. Appreciate it. Dr. Taylor, care to respond? That concludes our public speaks. Dr. Taylor, would you care to respond?
You want to check the online list first?
I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Nothing there.
Thank you for coming out tonight, first of all, and being a part of honoring both our students and your colleague. I would love to continue this conversation in a more appropriate place, as we had in our District SAM meeting yesterday. I think that there are lots of things that happen while we are in negotiations that are a part of negotiations. Lots of things are said during negotiations that are a part of that. And so I will leave that there because I don't think it's appropriate for us to talk about it at this place, but I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to continue our partnership and to include all voices, as I hope I've demonstrated in my responsiveness and our standing meetings that we hold and my responsiveness to the issues that are brought up in those meetings. And so thank you for those comments, and I'll be happy to follow up.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session to discuss the review of the Chief School Administrator's evaluation. May I have a second?
Second.
Excuse me, Board President Joshua?
Hello, Ms.
If-
Butler.
If the board is not coming back after
Yes, okay, do
executive
those
session,
first. All
we
right,
need to do new business.
okay, thank you for that. All right, I'll retract that motion. That's proper, right? Okay.
Yes.
And now new business. Does anyone have any new business this evening? Seeing none, I'll close new business, and now I'd like to make the following motions. Ms. Butler, do I need to do the motions I made on Monday about the future meetings as well?
Yes.
Okay, so let me do that first. I'd like to make the following motions. The Board of Education will meet in special session Monday, June 20th at 6:30 p.m. here at 525 Academy Street in Maplewood, as well as using online video conference platform. Immediately following public session, the board will adjourn to executive session to discuss the Chief School Administrator's evaluation. Action may be taken. The Board of Education will meet in executive session Monday, June 27th at 6 p.m. at 525 Academy Street in the superintendent's office, as well as using the online video conference platform. Immediately following executive session, the board will meet in public session Monday, June 27th at 7:30 p.m. in the district meeting room, 525 Academy Street in Maplewood, as well as using the online video conference platform. Action may be taken. The Board of Education will meet in special session Wednesday, June 29th at 6:30 p.m. in the district meeting room at 525 Academy Street in Maplewood, as well as using an online video conference platform. Immediately following public session, the board will adjourn to executive session to discuss the chief school administrator's evaluation in 525 Academy Street in the superintendent's office, as well as using the online video conference platform. Action may be taken. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Siders. All in favor? All right. That appears to be unanimous, Ms. Butler. And then lastly, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the chief school administrator's evaluation. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Siders. All in favor? All right, thank you, everyone. And I'd like to adjourn at 7 p.m. Thursday, June 9th. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Stay safe.